Good morning, everybody. I'm just kind of getting set up here. I'm going to get deeper into some character profiling today that I hadn't done previously. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited to get into some character profiling right now. This will be fun, and this is a big part of the overall story, right? Obviously, you can't have a story without characters. So I'm going to get this thing loaded up here. Just want to get the TikTok audience in right before we look at it. Oh, you're on the wrong camera too. That's a big issue. Okay, let's change this camera here. I was wondering why my camera looks so crappy. It's not the camera we want. It's never the camera that we want. There we go. There we go. Much better. Much cleaner. I like this camera a lot better. My internal camera just was nonsense. Just kind of sucked. So I'm up this morning. I'm just kind of getting it, getting everything going. I got up and got my morning workout in, so I'm feeling good about that. Where are you at? TikTok. Like, I don't have time for TikTok for you to be bullshitting right now. Like, let's go. Come on. So today I'm going to talk about that stunningly gorgeous character there. That's my lead doctor, and Dr. Audrey Kingston Drake, and she's the head of research. So she becomes a very, very important character to the overall story. So I'll slow down in 1 second. Let's dip out. Alright, so I'm about to get the live going for TikTok here in a sec, and that'll help us get on our way. Okay. Profile. You see. Okay, and so we have it. Now we're set up and streaming on both accounts right now. The stuff that matters. Got our TikTok going. So welcome in. So today, like I said, we're gonna get into talking about a specific character I really want to get into. It's kind of a linchpin character, based to be a specific way. So let's talk about Audrey Kingston Drake. This is one of the early characters I developed as I was kind of putting the whole idea together, and maybe the second or third character really that got named and identified. And like I said, I really had a good understanding of what she does to bring the story together. She's a central character. So let's get into it. Let's let the dossier read, and we'll kind of enjoy it.
Dossier file. Audrey Kingston Drake. Clearance level is black. Position is head of research for the Melanin Code. Function is chief architect of melanin theory. Status is active. Threat assessment is extreme, classified as intellectual. Audrey Kingston Drake is not the public face of the Melanin Code. She is the mind behind it. Where others run experiments, she builds frameworks. Where others chase results, she rewrites the rules that decide which results are even possible. If the Melanin Code is a weapon, Audrey is the one who determined where it should be aimed. Audrey Kingston Drake was born in San Francisco, California. She completed her undergraduate education at Grambling University. Her advanced research was conducted at UCLA, followed by medical and postdoctoral work at Brown Medical. Her early academic trajectory was often described as exceptional. In reality, it was misplaced. Her work repeatedly collided with institutional ceilings. Funding was denied. Peer review was delayed. Methodological objections appeared whenever her data challenged established biological assumptions. These obstacles followed a pattern. Her offense was simple. She continued proving that melanin was doing far more than modern science was prepared to acknowledge. By the time she reached medical research, Audrey had abandoned the belief that science was neutral. She came to understand it as curated, a system that advances what it finds comfortable and buries what destabilizes hierarchy. The Melanin Code did not recruit her. They followed her. Audrey's primary contribution was reframing melanin as a biocomputational medium. Rather than pigment, she identified it as a biological processor, capable of receiving, modulating.
I mean, this is kind of the central crux of what her work is. It's being able to manipulate, the melanin cells that are in your skin, in your brain, right? Part of your sleeping mechanisms. So this is kind of who she is and where her research is blended. So I kind of get to play on some real, actual, people call it pseudoscience, but, all science is kind of pseudo unless you're the one holding the gun, right? So let's get back into her and kind of where her research is. But that was something establishing about her.
Rather than pigment, she identified it as a biological processor, capable of receiving, modulating, and storing information across electromagnetic and emotional spectra. She later developed resonance threshold theory. This proposed that melanin-dense biological systems respond differently to frequency, sound, solar radiation, and stress. Under specific conditions, these responses could unlock heightened cognition, accelerated recovery, and expanded perception. She also advanced the ancestral data hypothesis. This theory suggested that melanin may encode generational biological information, including instinct, pattern recognition, and trauma response, operating beneath conscious awareness. This theory alone resulted in her quiet blacklisting from multiple academic circles. She continued her work regardless. Within the Melanin Code, Audrey Kingston Drake holds the title of Head of Research. Her authority within scientific divisions is absolute. She does not manage people. She orients them. All major research streams, including genetics, neurology, psycho-emotional amplification, and vibrational science, trace back to her foundational models. Other researchers refine, test, and apply those models. Audrey determines what qualifies as knowledge in the first place. She rarely attends operational meetings. When she does, decisions change. Not because she raises her voice, but because no one present can out-argue her. Psychologically, Audrey is calm, precise, and unapologetically confident. Her primary motivation is truth over approval. Her tolerance for risk is high, but calculated. Her moral framework is non-sentimental. She does not view herself as cruel. She views herself as honest. Her position is blunt. Humanity has been experimenting on itself blindly for centuries. The Melanin Code is simply the first organization willing to acknowledge that fact and proceed with intent. She has little patience for performative ethics and no interest in public redemption narratives. In her view, history does not vindicate feelings. It vindicates function. Internally, her reputation is unmistakable. If Audrey signs off on a finding, it is considered real. She does not debate. Colleagues either keep pace or fall silent. Nobel laureates sound unprepared in her presence. Some within the organization fear her. Some revere her. No one ignores her.
So, yeah, one of my most significant characters, right? I was really pleased bringing this character around and just kind of the overall development of it. So it's been kind of a really, really good fit. Bringing the character into the fold, kind of getting her developed. She's going to appear early in the story. So this is going to be This is going to be a really, really important part of it, right? And I'm going to get another part. There's another segment, so I know we didn't get a chance yesterday. I didn't talk as much about, I talked a little bit about the melanin code, but I definitely want to talk a little bit more about where there's a whole meaning behind the island. You can see in this image here, this is kind of where they're headquartered at, but I'm just going to let this run. We're going to talk a little bit about the Micronesia, like islands, where they're set up at.
Geographic and strategic profile. Micronesian island state. The Melanin Code is headquartered on a fully fictional island state within the Federated States of Micronesia. Publicly, the island is classified as an autonomous environmental and research zone with limited civilian infrastructure and restricted development permits. Internationally, it attracts little attention and is rarely mentioned outside of regional economic reports. Privately, it serves as the Melanin Code's primary research and operational anchor. The island is located far from major shipping corridors and outside the routine patrol patterns of global military powers. Its isolation is organic rather than enforced, which makes its absence from surveillance networks appear unremarkable. The surrounding waters are deep, thermally complex, and poorly mapped, creating ideal conditions for subsea activity. The climate is stable and tropical. Temperatures remain warm year-round, with predictable rainfall cycles that support dense vegetation and freshwater reserves. Severe storms are infrequent, and seismic activity is minimal. These conditions allow for long-term infrastructure stability and uninterrupted operations, both above and below sea level. The permanent civilian population is small, numbering in the low thousands. Most residents live in coastal communities sustained by fishing, small-scale agriculture, and public sector employment. Prior to Melanin Code involvement, economic opportunity on the island was limited, and outward migration was common. That vulnerability was not exploited. It was negotiated. When representatives of the Melanin Code approached Micronesian authorities, they did not present themselves as a covert organization. They presented themselves as a development consortium offering long-term economic stabilization. Through a series of compartmentalized agreements, the organization provided substantial financial investment into national infrastructure, healthcare systems, education funding, and sovereign trust reserves. No single government body was given a complete picture. Land use rights were granted under environmental research, marine biology, and medical development exemptions. Oversight responsibilities were intentionally distributed across multiple agencies. Each authority understood its own portion of the agreement, but none possessed a full operational view. This fragmentation was deliberate and mutually beneficial. The island's facility is divided between underground and offshore installations. Beneath the island's interior lies a hardened research complex embedded within natural rock formations. Surface development was kept minimal to avoid visual or logistical attention. Offshore, a network of submerged structures extends into the surrounding waters, functioning as laboratories, transit hubs, and containment environments. A significant portion of Melanin Code activity occurs below sea level. Subsea operations allow for movement, experimentation, and logistics without reliance on international airspace or maritime ports. Deep wing-class vehicles utilize these underwater corridors for insertion and extraction, often without ever surfacing. From a strategic standpoint, the island offers layered advantages. Political neutrality reduces scrutiny. Economic interdependence encourages discretion. Geographic distance slows response times to anomalies. Legal ambiguity complicates external intervention. Culturally, Micronesian governance emphasizes consensus, privacy, and non-interference. Once agreements are reached, they are upheld quietly. The Melanin Code understood this before negotiations began. The civilian population remains largely unaware of the true scope of the facility beneath them. Most residents understand only that a foreign-funded research initiative operates nearby, providing employment, improved medical access, and stable infrastructure. Quality of life on the island has measurably improved since the organization's arrival. This outcome was intentional. The Melanin Code does not equate secrecy with deprivation. Stability reduces curiosity. Prosperity reduces resistance. Silence is easier to maintain when people feel protected rather than excluded. Dr. Audrey Kingston Drake does not officially reside on the island. No permanent residence is assigned to her, and no public records list her as a local inhabitant. In practice, she is almost always there. Her presence is not mandated by policy, but by temperament. She remains on site for extended periods, rotating between underground facilities and offshore platforms, driven less by obligation than by refusal to disengage. The island functions as her operational center not because she was assigned to it, but because she will not stop working. Within the Melanin Code, this is understood as both an asset and a liability. Strategically, the island serves as a fixed point in an otherwise mobile system. It houses primary research divisions, long-term data vaults, executive coordination spaces, and containment environments that cannot be easily replicated elsewhere. If the island were ever compromised, the geopolitical response would be slow, divided, and legally entangled. By the time international consensus formed, the Melanin Code would already be in motion. That scenario was modeled during construction.
And that's the Melanin Code there, like a hot facility. Man, I really enjoy that part of it. And this is something I really wanted to share with you guys today. And this will be good. Since we're really talking about my Melanin Code, yeah, this is going to be a good one here. Let me pull this stuff up for you guys here. We talked a little bit about, we talked about the facility. Like, obviously a massive facility that houses all this research, 60 scientists working, test subjects, security, all housed, on this island. And obviously they have to have some type of transportation system here. And I really went into breaking this thing down for you guys. I think you're gonna like it if I can ever find it here. Let me go back here for a second, and I'm gonna drop this guy on you here. One of my favorite parts. Okay, so we're going to talk about their covert transportation, and is this vehicle here, which I may have shown some images of. They call this thing the Deep Wing, and this is like a I don't know what I'm explaining, but it's like a multi-operational type of vehicle. Like, they can use this thing for a wide variety. I'm going to show you some images. Obviously, it works as a helicopter or hovercraft. It has full-on jet capabilities, and there's some good images. It's like while it's in motion. So they've got a couple of these, and this is kind of their main way of getting around, so to speak. So let's take a look at it. Let's take a listen to the dossier file on this.
The primary role of Deepwing is infiltration, extraction, and strategic mobility. A legacy engineering acronym, SPLASH, was once associated with the craft, but this designation has been deprecated and remains an internal reference only. Deepwing is not classified as an aircraft, a vehicle, or a submersible. It is classified as a solution. It exists to move people, intelligence, and critical assets through environments where jurisdiction, tracking systems, and conventional response mechanisms fail. The craft was designed around a single guiding principle. If the terrain can be defined, Deepwing can ignore it. Deepwing operates under the doctrine of borderless access. It is officially designated as a special-purpose land, air, subsea hovercraft. In land mode, Deepwing functions as a hovercraft. It uses electromagnetic hover propulsion and is capable of operating across any terrain, including urban environments, jungles, deserts, and ice fields. Ground contact is minimal, and its acoustic profile is heavily suppressed. This mode is typically used for perimeter insertion, urban recovery, and silent approach operations. In air mode, Deepwing operates as a VTOL and jet hybrid. Vertical takeoff and landing are achieved through a dual rotor system. Once airborne, retractable jet propulsion enables high-speed transit. The hull is radar absorbent and equipped with adaptive signal masking. In this configuration, Deepwing can function as a conventional helicopter when required, then transition seamlessly into high-velocity jet travel. In subsea mode, Deepwing becomes a mini-submersible. The hull is fully pressure-sealed and reinforced for underwater operation. Propulsion shifts to a magnetic system designed for silent movement. The exterior skin disrupts sonar and nullifies wake signatures. This allows Deepwing to disappear beneath coastlines, ports, oil platforms, and naval patrol grids without detection. The interior of Deepwing is modular, restrained, and deliberately non-militaristic. It is designed for high-value mines rather than expendable operators. The standard configuration includes shock-isolated command seating, encrypted holographic display panels, environmental stabilization systems for pressure, oxygen, and temperature, emergency medical interface ports, and a secure data vault with a black box recorder. The cabin can function as a mobile briefing room, a recovery and stabilization chamber, or a silent intelligence transit space. Deepwing's stealth and defensive systems include adaptive visual and thermal camouflage, signal scrambling with false echo broadcasting, EMP-hardened avionics, and a classified countermeasure suite. Deepwing does not seek engagement. Its primary defense is absence. Crew requirements are minimal. The craft is flown by a multimodal certified pilot using a neural-linked interface. Systems are AI-assisted, with a co-pilot optional. Capacity typically allows for 4 to 6 high-value personnel, or 2 critical subjects equipped with containment systems. Deepwing is often flown by pilots cleared through the Blackbirds, trained specifically in intelligence insertion rather than combat maneuvering. Strategically, Deepwing enables scientist relocation without trace, secure transport of enhanced assets, black site access without fixed infrastructure, and emergency extraction from compromised zones. It is most commonly assigned to head of research movements, intelligence command insertions, and sensitive subject retrieval and disappearance. If Deepwing is deployed, it indicates that the melanin code anticipated the situation long before anyone else noticed it existed. Internally, Deepwing has earned a quiet reputation. It is said that Deepwing does not cross borders. Borders move around it. It is also said that if you heard it, you are already too late. From an archival standpoint, Deepwing reflects the melanin code's operational philosophy. Adapt faster than response systems. Move where authority breaks down. Leave no recoverable evidence. Deepwing is not mass-produced. It is not replaceable. If a Deepwing is ever confirmed destroyed, it does not represent a loss of hardware. It signals a catastrophic failure of foresight. End of vehicle dossier insert. The cathedral doors boom shut behind her, their echo rolling through the nave like a verdict. Grimery steps into the night as rain mist softens the edges of the world. Incense still clings to her lungs, a reminder of the ritual, the command, the leash she can never slip. She pauses at the top of the stone stairway. Pale skin contrasts sharply against black demonic armor. White dreadlocks brush her horns like a ghostly crown. Below, the city stretches wide and unaware. Another summons. Another child. Her wings unfurl, slow and deliberate, each blade catching moonlight as rain hisses against them. The runes along her gauntlets glow faintly, responding to a command she does not question, even as she despises it. She steps off the final stair and drops. For a heartbeat, gravity claims her. Then her wings snap wide, and she surges upward through the fog. The cathedral shrinks beneath her, swallowed by the glow of the city. Towers of glass cut through the mist, their lights flickering against rain-heavy clouds. Street lamps smear into golden lines far below. She soars in silence, a phantom carved into the night. At her side, the communicator flares to life. Runes burn brighter across her gauntlets as a spectral projection forms in the air. The girl's name leaves Grimerous lips in a whisper, and the spell answers. A thin thread of pale light stretches outward, tugging her forward, unyielding. Another child. Another assignment. We were not made for this. She banks across the skyline, wings slicing through low clouds. The city unfolds beneath her like a map of fire and shadow. Sirens cry somewhere far below, distant and meaningless. Once, the Grigori walk among kings. They teach empires to build, to dream, to shape the stars into patterns that mortals still worship. Now they serve as knives for masters too afraid to soil their own hands. The tether pulls her away from the crowded districts and toward quieter streets. Concrete gives way to manicured lawns and careful symmetry. Porches sit empty. Windows glow faintly with the warmth of ordinary lives. This is the kind of place where nothing dangerous is supposed to happen. We fall for daring to love humankind. That is our sin. And still they chain us to these endless errands of blood. Obedience is our penance. Grimery descends with a hunter's patience. Her wings fold as her boots touch the grass without a sound. The house before her feels warm, lived in. Family photographs sit in the window. A child's bicycle leans crookedly against the porch. Inside, a man sleeps on the couch. The blue glow of a paused game flickers across his face. His breathing is slow and heavy, the rhythm of someone too exhausted to sense the danger moving through his home. Grimery passes him like a living shadow. She does not hide what she is. Darkness bends around her willingly. This is the part she hates most, moving through human lives that will never know how close they come to ending. Upstairs, water runs behind a closed bathroom door. The mother moves through her nightly routine, unaware an ancient predator climbs her stairs. Grimery ascends without hurry. The tether tightens with every step. Abigail is close now. A thin line of warm light spills from a cracked bedroom door. Inside, Abigail Winifred Capers sits at her desk beneath a dim lamp. Books and notebooks cover every surface, filled with equations and diagrams far beyond her years. Her lips move softly as she reads, her mind already lost inside patterns only she can see. To the girl, the universe is a puzzle. And she is already deep in the solving. The door creaks. Abigail looks up. Darkness pours into the room as Grimery steps through the threshold. Her wings unfurl, stretching wide until they fill the doorway. White dreadlocks spill over black armor etched with glowing red runes. Her horns catch the lamplight. Her eyes burn like embers as they lock onto the girl. She stands fully revealed. A fallen angel. A weapon forged from divine ruin. A relic of a war humanity never remembers. Face to face with an 11-year-old child who has no idea the universe has just taken notice of her. And in that instant, the world seems to hold its breath.
This is the first interaction that we have, and I'll get a little more into, this fallen angel character, Grimery, who's super, extremely important for the overall story. So that was just kind of a taste into it. Again, I do have the wiki that's up right now. I'm just trying to go about the movements of getting my story out there. So I'm kind of telling it to you guys or sharing it with you guys in small bits. Hopefully one of you guys is an executive at Netflix. Maybe not. Maybe it's Tubi. We don't know yet. But right now, if you guys want to explore the story, these are just kind of some opening intro information. I think it's going to be really useful. Kind of like getting people involved, kind of understand what the story is all about. So any questions you guys have, if you want to know some more information about like overall what I'm doing with Nine World Chronicles, as always, hit me up in the comment section. I'm usually on this type of morning, just kind of taking some tidbits out of the story, sharing some of the artwork. Right, this is absolutely where I'm at in terms of the story. So the story's progressing. I'm feeling pretty good about getting the story out there overall. This is just one of the mechanisms. So you've got a couple of my really important characters that you're going to see surface over and over again. And again, this all exists in the wiki right now. So you guys can definitely step in. You guys can definitely start enjoying the story, figuring out who your favorite characters were, all that stuff right now at the wiki site. And so I'm going to drop the link, if I haven't done that already. I don't think I have. I'm going to drop the link to the wiki. And there it is. So if you take this link, it'll take you right to my Notion internal wiki, and I'm sharing, not everything yet, but you can get access to like starting to explore the characters, starting to explore the artwork, just kind of starting to see what it's really about, picking out your favorite characters, all that ghetto stuff. So I will be back on later today. I usually come back and talk mythology. So I will be back doing some mythology and some modern myth breakdowns as well. So that's usually on around noon. I'm on Central Time, so adjust yourself accordingly. But you definitely won't want to miss that if you enjoy. Like today, we're going to be talking a lot about the show Wheel of Time. I'm kind of got into that and want to do some breakdowns. So I'll be back for that. But tomorrow morning, I'll be back here, and we're going to talk more about this opening scene. We're going to talk more about Abigail. We're going to talk more about the doctor and this fallen angel. She's a huge part of this story. So yeah, this is absolutely kind of shaping up. I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. Look forward to seeing you guys back again. The next opportunity you have to sit down with me and kind of break down some Nine World Chronicles lore and myth. All right, so we ended the TikTok stream. Now it's just a YouTube guy, so I can talk to you guys. You know how they are over TikTok. But again, you guys are my main audience, so you have the opportunity to get to the chat, follow the dossier, and just kind of tear the story up. Tell me what you think about the story. So that's where we are. I'm going to wrap up, and I'll be back on. In the meanwhile, I'll get some of this stuff.